Coucou mes vies, welcome back to CQUT 90.3 FM, and we are back for the second party, and this time I'm so happy to be able to present this amazing lady, this amazing human being, Julie Langenegger. Hello, Julie.
Hi, Miss Dupré.
How
Thank
you
you.
doing?
I'm doing good. You
Oh my
too?
God, I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, so we're just gonna start with the beginning. Who is Julie Langenegger?
So I'm a Swiss photographer based here in Montreal since 10 years. Human being with sometimes a huge heart and sometimes not.
So, like,
for those which deserve it.
as you should. So, I met you online on Facebook Messenger. I think it's gonna be 1 year already, or
bit
more than
more than
1
year.
year. Yes, and then you DM me about like a project that you are doing, and then we shoot a couple of pictures. So you did like most of the picture that I'm posting on Instagram. So go at her, Julie Langenegger. But I want you to tell us more about the project that I'm so glad to be part of, who is Être. Like, explain us what is Être and why Être, and how this idea came to you as a photographer.
So starting from the beginning, I worked since several years here in Montreal as a commercial photographer, shooting mainly portraits and food, and mainly for advertising. The food was for prêt-à-manger, so all visuals which you find on ready-to-eat boxes in the supermarkets. And I got a bit... I love that work because it's very technical, but I got a bit fed up of it because it was everything was so perfect and superficial, but it was missing so much heart and soul in what concerns me. And I came to a point because I had a career as an artist in Switzerland, I came to a point that I was just missing like some more profound stuff in my life. And I remember I was sitting in the office of my psychologist, and she was saying like, close your eyes, and if you see a white page, what do you see? And I was just like, I see nothing. I see fuck all. I was just feeling so empty in myself. And yeah. And after a while, I was trying out some stuff, and I had the desire to work with humans again. With people with souls, with hearts, with emotions, with feelings. And yeah, my personal work always turned around identity, actually. In Switzerland, I photographed a series of soccer players, and they were mostly foreigners. And for me, they were belonging to our culture, if it was sport or whatever the culture of the region. So for me, it was like quite evident to put them a traditional cultural Swiss clothes on them. And that series made a huge mess in this little Catholic conservative left-oriented political countryside. So I thought about, and I said I want to go farther with that. And when I came here to Switzerland, there's an EQ2, which was an association of photographers in Switzerland. They ordered me a series about what I could find typical Swiss here in Quebec. So I made a raclette poutine, fake mountains, Saint Bernard dog. I found quite some stuff here. And when I looked back to all those works, I said to myself, I actually should work on gender identity, which was also a period of my life where I was questioning myself, because I never really, I use both pronouns, she, her, them, they, but I never identified myself like as a woman being. I'm really somebody more gender neutral, and I think every person has an feminine and a masculine side, some which are more
Definitely.
dominant or not, or equal, or not existing at all. And it was a logic continuity for me to continue my personal work on human being and what is gender identity altogether.
Perfect. So this is when you decide that you're gonna create a project, Être, and a lot of you pick a lot of trans people for this shooting. So what is the relationship that you have with trans people?
A very intimate relationship, actually. It was hard because that are things you don't learn in school, actually, how when you make a documentary photography, how to handle those models, persons, which get actually quite intimate in your life, because you can't just go to people and shoot them and come back home and keep this distance with them. Me personally, I'm not able. And it came to a part which, just when I was looking for models, it was a lot of mouth to ear first. I contacted a lot of Facebook groups, at the time Trans Army, which some people, like, they gave me a pass, actually helping me putting announcement and all that. And I casted a lot people. The persons which came in my studio, first we made like a kind of mock shot together, and we spent a lot of time talking. So in that sense of terms, it actually was an evidence with which persons I will have more, how we say, I will have more. I missed the word. I will be more easier close to than some others, and we're not psychologists neither. We're just like human beings. I mean, I know some persons which we met the first time. I knew when they stepped out, we will not see each other anymore, because their lifestyles, their stories, their past was just too heavy for them and for myself to carry. But some others, due to their positivity, to their resilience about their own stories, became really close friends. And that are the persons actually which I went more farther in the series with.
Oh, that's so beautiful. So if I understand, you are like, okay, I'm so boring, like taking pictures of food. Like you were looking for something more like
Yeah.
with a story.
I needed it, actually. It was more a case of surviving because that's the fuel, actually, of my work and who I am, how I feel. If I don't do it, I will just, I would be good to work in a supermarket.
And what was your like at I think took you 3 years,
Yes.
right? And what was the process like? Where did it start? Like when you were just sitting and then you have this idea and you was like, okay, this is what I would like to do. But what was the process during these 3 years to be able to put it right?
The huge part of work was first meeting every person, getting into each person, and to try. It's really a common work. I never could pretend this show is my show. It's our show, and wherever it will travel, it will always be our show. It's really it was a long work, hand to hand together, of also what each person wants to show or is willing to show of themselves to the public, because it's kind of getting naked in front of everyone.
You just want to the picture to reflect the person with the positive and the negative. I think there is no negativity. It's just who is the person to be able like to tell the story.
It's who we are. We're all perfectly imperfect. And of course, if it's spots, stretch marks, whatever, everyone has that. So when I started making like my first queer nude bodies, I said to myself, I need those imperfections to make everyone recognize that actually we're all the same.
Yeah, that's so important because, like, sometimes like we see a lot of pictures and the picture are just flawless. We love some flawless picture, but I think sometimes like for the children or for the person, like it's sometimes they just wanted to be something perfect because pictures are perfect, and sometimes like people they went through a lot of surgery or something like to just but your with your picture, the photography, the picture that you are doing, you're just reminding people that imperfection is perfect actually.
Yeah.
And it is such an amazing message. And can you talk about like the exposition in Switzerland, how it's work, like how was it, what was your feeling like 3 years of working? It's kind of an achievement to be able like to show the world the series of the picture that you made for queer trans people.
Actually, I would say it's like giving birth. Seriously, I felt like an elephant with 3 years gestation. And it's the first time actually with Julia Huntu, which is my art commissioner. We started that project in 2019, and it's the first time in my life that I really orchestrated a show from A to Z, because until now I got invited to shows or group shows or institutions, and you don't handle nothing of all. You just they will print your pictures and hang it on the wall, and you will shake hands during the vernissage, and that's it. So it took quite even 1 year to search for money to finance all that, to realize retouch all the pictures, getting them ready, because we had huge prints which were like over 2 meters, and to send them to Paris to make them printed, to get over the border, which we did illegally because we had problems with getting an ATA file for the borders. So we smuggled everything in the TGV with Julia, and we brought it over Switzerland. And neither she, neither me, we made a whole exhibition in stickers, like it was a autocollant, vinyl autocollant. We never had that experience because we couldn't from Canada bring prints and frames and glasses and get everything framed and hang it on the wall. So that was like the best solution. And so we managed it in a way or in another, and I think we must be, as an artist, quite crazy to handle those kind of, maybe brainless or I don't know, unconscious, to do those kind of projects, because it was so irresponsible from us to get it that way. But it happened, and it's done, and it went well. So knock the wood.
And how was it? What was the feeling when you were like at the exposition, seeing all of the works that you did?
I was overwhelmed, and I had two of my models which came here from Montreal for the show. So Gabrielle Boulian-Tremblay was there. She's a writer, she's an actress, very well known here in Quebec. And Chloé Viau came over also for a conference. So Gabrielle actually had a performance. She read parts of her books at the opening of the show.
Wow.
And Chloé gave a conference a few days after the opening to explain her reality to Swiss people. As an elder transgender woman. And for me, it was really like uniting the best part of two worlds, to have my Swiss folks and my Quebec folks together in one part. C'est boucle in boucle. It's like gathering everything together, especially for that show. And it was really overwhelming. And I really only realized once I came back here what really happened.
I needed like to congratulate you for the amazing work that you do, and also to be able like to create something to be able to make us trans folks seen. So thank you so much for that.
You
And
deserve it so much.
like I think we need more of spotlight and for example the one that you gave us. So thank you so much. And what is the future? Like what do you have in head? Like you work with Être. So what is the next step with photography with Julie?
I think Être now is going to a point which Être will be a toddler, will start to walk by itself, that project, but I want to continue it because I followed so many persons since 3 years through their struggles, their the evolution of their bodies, of who they want to be, how they want to look, what they want to express, and it would be so shame to stop it now. And also, I think my models trust me enough now to stop digital photography. So my wish now is to pass on analog photography to work with the black chamber. Which is one of my favorite actually techniques. But to comfort my models, I needed to pass first on the digital side because they needed to see how they look, how
Yeah.
things work out. It's more reconforting, especially for folks which don't have habit to these techniques.
Amazing. And are we accepting to have an exposition here in Montreal with Être?
I would love to. So if anyone is working like with some cultural institutions or places which they would like to get this exhibition, I would love to especially for my models which couldn't come over to Switzerland. It would be a consecration for my models to have that show here in Montreal.
So, Julie, like, do you have any activities without photography? Like, we want to know you more about the photography, about Ed. Who is Julie?
I gave up since last year roller skating. So I'm getting back to it. And I'm not a uber sportive person, but I need to move. So yeah, that's I would say most activities is like hanging out with friends, having either deep, either very stupid conversations, laughing or crying together, and yeah, that's like my most important hobbies is being close to human beings.
Sounds amazing. And what do you have to tell? What message that you've done Ed? You met a lot of trans folks. What is the message that you have to say to younger trans or younger people that they are trying to find themselves? Like, what is the message that you have for those people who still in the closet or who still finding themselves? Like with what you are doing, the photography with Ed, what message do you have for them?
Be proud of yourself. Be damn proud of yourself and listen to yourself and be who you want to be and not who the society or your families or people surrounding you want you to be. Because if you try to bury yourself, you will come out one day anyway.
It will reach you at a point in your life. Perfect. And you are mother of a beautiful child.
Two.
Two. Oh.
One is older, one is already over 18, and Zola is 4.5, soon 5 years old.
So you are a beautiful mother with two children,
Thank you.
activist with your photography with the community. So apart the photography, do you have any projects that you wanted to do with the community, like in future or with photography apart Être?
I would like actually know to make a book with those pictures in the
Oh,
future. Just now digesting still this huge show, solo show after 3 years work. But many persons asked me if a book is coming out, and more I think about, more I think it's necessary, and it would be a good thing.
definitely. And the book, is this gonna be only image or you gonna illustrate it? It's gonna be text, it's gonna be history about the pictures, about the person that are posing in the picture, or it is just gonna be that the pictures?
We have a lot of pictures. Like you can imagine, after 3 years, there's a lot of rush pictures, and also for the show, like we made such a little part of what has been done in 3 years that, yeah, actually, it's shame to let that in a computer. But right now, I couldn't say how it will look like, how it would be, but I'm sure that would be like a next step, which would be fantastic.
Sounds amazing. So I think like that's it. We
Hmm.
talked about the most important, and I'm so glad that you make it happen. And then you come here to tell us about it, to tell us about your experience. And thank you again for doing the work that you're doing for the community. So, what is your last word with like a message that you wanted to tell to everybody, the allies, the community, the queer community, the trans community? What is the last word that you have for us?
Love yourself. Love yourself like you love other people. Give as more you give to others, give it back to yourself too.
Sounds amazing. So, Julie Langenegger, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
that amazing people, and I cannot wait to shoot with you again.
No, with pleasure.
So thank you so much, and have a great day, guys. And you are listening, You Bet Her, and I'm your girl, Miss Dupré Latour. And as Julie said, just be proud of who you are.